Hi friends, Mickey Mankis here and welcome to Out the Back Door. What do you think of when you're seeing all these groceries sitting on my table here? Chex Mix Kicks. That's what I'm doing. I'm on a Chex Mix Kicks right now. And I'm going to be sharing 4 different recipes with you. I'm going to be doing the original Chex Mix, I'm going to do a ranch mix, a hot and spicy mix, and a toffee mix. So let's get started. Okay, I'm going to be making the original Chex Mix. Can't get much easier because you're dumping 3 cups of each cereal into there. I'm going to start with the rice Chex, and I'm just putting these in a roaster pan. And we'll go to the corn. All right, and I'm going to put 3 cups of the wheat. This measuring cup is 1.5 cups. So if you're wondering why I'm saying put 3 cups in of each one and I'm only dumping in 2, that's why. All right, so if you're allergic to any of these, omit it. Add extra that you can eat. Doesn't matter. It's totally up to you. All right. Next, I'm going to put in 1 cup of mixed nuts. Oh, I want a little more. Yeah. All right, and you want to use like the bagel chips, the garlic flavored bagel chips. I'm going to put 1 cup of these in. And pretzels, 1 cup. And I'm just going to toss that around a little bit. Okay, now I am going to be mixing up my butter and the spices and everything that are going to go in here. I have my oven preheating at 250 degrees. We are going to be baking this for 1 hour, and every 15 minutes we're going to give it a stir. So I'm going to set this aside. I need 6 tablespoons of butter, and I'm going to be melting this. If you want to do this in the microwave, that's fine. I'm going to do it on the stove top. And I'm out of small saucepans right now, so I'm using a stainless steel bowl. All right, and while that's melting down, Worcestershire sauce. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Okay, right? I need 2 tablespoons of that. And I'm going to dump that right in with the butter. Had a little bit warm. And I'm going to need 1.5 teaspoons of seasoning salt. If you're out of seasoning salt, you can make up your own mix. This is my mix because I didn't have any of the name brand in the house. So, garlic powder, we need about 3/4 teaspoon. Onion powder, I need about 1/2 teaspoon. And we're just mixing everything up until the butter's melted. Our butter and our seasonings are all melted, so I'm just going to drizzle this on top and kind of toss it. Okay, now I'm going to put it in the oven for 1 hour, and every 15 minutes I'm going to be giving it a stir. I'm using my handy dandy little timer here. I did set the oven for 1 hour, but I'm setting this one for 15 minutes so that I know when to stir it. Okay, our original Chex Mix is all done. And generally they say to lay this out on a paper towel so that it can cool. I'm just going to leave it in the pan here on the cooling rack, and I'm going to let it cool that way. And then I'm going to store it in an airtight container. Now I'm going to make the hot and spicy mix of Chex Mix. And we are going to be using wheat Chex, 3 cups. We want 3 cups of corn Chex, 3 cups of corn Chex. I'm not going to be able to say Chex by the time I get done with all this. 3 cups of corn Chex. Three cups of rice Chex. And if you're allergic to any of these, omit it and just add additional of the other one. All right, 1 cup of pretzels. One cup of mixed nuts. For this one, I'm going to use cheese-flavored crackers, 1 cup. I'm also using Flamin' Hot Crunchy Cheetos, just to be a little different. You don't have to add these. I'm going to put a cup of these. They don't want to come out of the bag. I'm also going to add some peanuts to it besides the mixed nuts in here. And I'm going to add 1 cup of these. All right, just kind of mix these up a little bit. Set these aside. And now I'm going to make the butter seasoning mix. Okay, for the butter, I am going to add 6 tablespoons. And I'm going to get this melted. 1 table of Worcestershire sauce. Did I say that right this time? Worcestershire. Worcestershire? I don't know. You know what I'm talking about. 1 tablespoon. 1 1/4 teaspoons of the seasoning salt. And red pepper, hot red pepper sauce. I have a fancy for Cholula brand. You use whatever you want. You want to use Tabasco, that's fine. You're going to put 2 to 3 teaspoons in. I'm going for 3 teaspoons. Okay, our seasoned butter, our spicy seasoned butter is going to be get drizzled over all of our cereal and nut fixins. And I'm going to mix that up. Okay, I'm going to put this in the oven at 250 degrees for 1 hour, and I'm going to be stirring it every 15 minutes. Okay, our hot and spicy mix is out of the oven now, and I'm just giving it a quick stir. And I'm going to leave this sit in the pan and let it cool down on a cooling rack. You're going to want to store this in an airtight container once it's cooled. Seems like I've been having technical difficulties lately. Audio went out. Sorry about that. So I'm going to tell you what I threw in. We are making the ranch Chex mix right now, and I have put in 3 cups of rice Chex cereal, 3 cups of corn Chex cereal, 5 cups of pretzels, 3 cups of the cheese crackers, 2 cups of oyster crackers. Okay, and then I went and I dumped in 2 cups of roasted cashews. You can put any kind of nut you want in there, but I decided to put the cashews in there because they're a little bit sweet. Those were roasted. So anyway, I'm mixing all this up right now. And what I'm going to do with this one is you need like a jelly roll baking sheet. You can put parchment on it so that it doesn't stick to the bottom. I'm just going to be using my silicone mats on this. And in another bowl, I've got 4½ tablespoons of butter that I'm going to be melting up. And I'm going to add 1/4 cup of shredded Parmesan cheese. Now this calls for mustard powder, and I went through all of my herb spices and everything else, and I swore I had mustard powder. I didn't, but I had mustard seed. So if worse comes to worse, you get your spice grinder out, your coffee grinder or whatever, and you can grind some up yourself. So I need 2 teaspoons of the mustard powder. Okay, 2 teaspoons of the parsley, dried parsley. And then you need ranch dressing mix. You can use 1 packet that you buy at the store. Otherwise, I'm using my own homemade mix. I'll leave a link above to that if you're interested in making your own. And I'm going to put a heaping tablespoon of this in. Okay, so I'm going to melt this on the stove top. If you want to do it in the microwave, that's fine. All right, give that a mix. Okay, and we're going to dump this on this sheet. Okay, my other mixes are almost ready to come out of the oven. I've got about 12 more minutes to go and they'll be coming out, so then I'll put these in. Okay, so the ranch Chex mix just came out of the oven and I'm going to let that cool. On cooling racks, you can dump it onto paper towel if you'd like in order to speed up the cooling process and such, but I'm not going to. Once it's cooled off and everything, then just store it into an airtight container. Now I'm going to be making the Toffee Chex mix. And you want to use rice Chex, 12-ounce box. We're going to dump the whole thing in there. And we need 3 cups of pretzels. Okay, it calls for 3 cups of nuts. And I decided, being it's a toffee type thing, I'm going to use pecans. And we need 3 cups. If you want to use mixed nuts, that's fine, or almonds, or whatever you like. Okay, I'm just going to give this a mix. And now I'm going to make the toffee syrup for it. All right, in order to make the toffee, you have to make sure that you've got a very large saucepan because the volume is actually going to expand 5 times and you don't want it boiling over. I'm going to start with a cup of butter and we're going to melt this. And then we'll start adding the rest of our ingredients. You're going to want ready 2 cups of sugar, 3/4 cup of Caro syrup, corn syrup. We're going to use 1 teaspoon of salt. We're going to need vanilla and baking soda. This is going to be at the very end, and then I'll give you the measurements. All right, it's been 2 minutes that our toffee's been boiling, and we're going to add vanilla next, 2 teaspoons. Be careful when you do this, being your toffee mixture is so hot right now. And when you pour this in, it usually bubbles up because of the alcohol reaction in here. Mix that around. And if you thought that bubbled, watch what happens next. Now we're going to put 1 teaspoon of baking soda in here. I just happened to measure it out already, so I was ready for it because as soon as I put it in, it's going to start foaming. There it goes. Now that it's mixed up well, we're going to dump it over our cereal. Now, when you're mixing this up, please be careful. You're going to try to stir from the bottom, but it's extremely hot. It's extremely sticky. You will get burned if you start splattering this. And we're going to continue mixing it until it's well coated. All right, you want to set your oven to 250 degrees. Try to center 2 racks as close as possible in the middle there. We're going to put these on 2 jelly roll pans. And you're going to want to put parchment paper on, or I'm using silicone sheets. We'll dump equal amounts on each sheet here, baking sheet. Alright, try to get it smoothed out some. And you're going to bake this either 30 minutes to an hour, depending on how crunchy you want it or chewy. Now, if you want it more on the chewy side, you're only going to bake it for 30 minutes. And if you want it really crisp, you're going to bake it for a full hour at 250 degrees. I prefer mine a little more on the chewy side, so I'm going to do about 30 minutes on mine. And every 15 minutes, then you are going to give this a mix. All right, let's get these in the oven. I just took the Toffee Chex mix out of the oven, and I'm going to let that cool down a little bit. I'm going to kind of break them apart in hunks because the Toffee's spread out and it's melted onto the pad and stuff. That's why I said use parchment paper or the silicone pads. But once that cools and everything, we're going to store that into an airtight container and we'll be good to go. For those of you that have stuck through the entire video with me, thank you. I have a bonus for you. I'm going to be making what's pretty well close known to Muddy Buddy. I'm going to start with chocolate chips, and I'm going to melt these down in a double boiler. If you want to do this in the microwave, that's fine. We need about 1 cup of chocolate chips. The recipe calls for semi-sweet. I'm using dark chocolate because I like dark chocolate. So we're going to melt those up. And once that's melted really well, we're going to be adding a 1/4 cup of peanut butter to it. Smooth. I suppose if you want to use chunky, go ahead. Okay, this is melting really fast over the double boiler. So don't think the microwave is always the best thing. So while the chocolate chips are melting down, I'm going to put 6 cups of Crispix. I can't say that today. 6 cups of Crispix cereal mix. I'm just going to use my pot that I had the caramel going in a little while ago. And the nice thing about this recipe, you don't have to bake it. I'm also going to add a 1/2 cup of peanuts to it. It's a 1/3 cup measuring cup, so, you know, I'm guesstimating. I also want to put a 1/2 cup of craisins in it. The nice thing about this recipe is you can alter it and customize it any way you want. You can add coconut to it if you want, or different other nuts. It's totally up to you. Just add 1/2 cup increments of your choice. All right, the chocolate's melted. I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of peanut butter. And we're going to mix that in. Kind of looks like a Reese's peanut butter cup. Now we're going to drizzle that over our cereal mix here with the nuts and craisins in it. You didn't think I was going to make all those Chex mixes and everything and not have Muddy Buddies, did you? Alright, I'm going to mix that up. Ooh, I bet you a little mini marshmallows would be good in here too. And you want to get the cereal and everything well coated with the chocolate peanut butter mix. These are all quick and easy recipes to make for the holidays. And like I said, something to snack on when you're watching the football game or something too. We need a 2-gallon Ziploc baggie. And powdered sugar, confectioner's sugar. And I'm going to place 1 cup of the powdered sugar into the baggie here. You like how I measure? Yeah, that's about a cup. And now we're going to pour our cereal mix into our baggie. Or at least try to get it in there. Now we're going to seal this up and we're going to shake. And I'm going to get a tray to lay this out on so I can let it cool a little bit. I laid another silicone mat on the tray just so it's going to be easier to remove and clean up. And I'm just going to sprinkle this in here. There we go. There's your bonus. I'm just going to let that cool a little bit and then we're going to store it in an airtight container. Okay, I think I've given you enough varieties of snack mix to make for the day. I have a boatload of dishes I need to get to and everything, but use your imagination and spice things up, switch them around, add different fruits, nuts, whatever you want to them. It's your mix, do what you want with it. So if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing, hit the notification bell, and give me a thumbs up. And if you have any comments or questions, please leave them below. So until next time, I hope you have a wonderful day. God bless. Can I just suck on this? I think so. That's gonna be some good stuff.